years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before. We're GabNet, and we've got you covered live 5 nights a week. First Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, it's The Exchange.
Let's capture, who are all these people who are watching these cooking shows? And they're stoners, right? So I'm wondering, is this a program that Netflix has absorbed? I don't know, what is the purpose of Netflix making a 14-minute show? Now, aside from those 2 interesting facts about this show, the show is fucking terrible. Do not watch this show. It fucking sucks.
Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern. Join Alex Bennett on The Ramble.
Say goodbye to the unions.
Renee, what was the decision? And then we'll go to Patrick.
It doesn't matter. Just say goodbye to the unions.
No. But I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you what was in the decision yesterday.
I'm going to look it up.
Okay, let me look it up.
Yeah, he'll go look it up at glennbeck.com.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
Most high school boys, what have we got on our mind? Sex and girls and sex and sex and sex.
And booze and drugs.
Yeah, the Asian guys I knew in high school, I'm sure they thought that way, but perhaps they were more disciplined about it. Although there was this Japanese girl in high school that your old friend, the Black Avenger, had the hots for. Oh, my God. Be still my sake wanting to drink self.
If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Well, and even if you did that, it doesn't give you the right to grab your Uber driver's private. I mean, and like, what part of that to him sounded like a good idea?
Oh, she played a special song.
Catch up on all the shows with our weekend flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GabNet. It's new, it's daring, it's talk like you've never heard it before. Spotify has 180 million monthly users and access to 35 million songs and podcasts. Now, all those offerings are going to have to move over and make room for GabNet programming. Yes, at long last, Alex Bennett's Ramble, Damian Chaplin's Exchange, Jack Bishop's The Intersection, and even the franchise MC's Arena and Michael Snyder's weekly movie reviews will be fighting for space on this massive platform. Each day, the programs are updated, so you can hear them on the Spotify app, available for all smartphones and game consoles. Or you can just go to Spotify on the web at spotify.com. So, give us a shot on Spotify. There's a 35 million to 5 chance we'll get people to listen to talk like they've never heard it before. Reasons why you tune into GabNet. Reason number 29, the Citizen Panel.
I'm saying that a good lawyer might be able to make a case that he cannot get a fair trial anywhere in the United States because the President of the United States said, quote, he should be executed. And if you can't find a fair jury anywhere in this country because they've all been exposed to this.
No, he'll never go to trial if he's treated as an enemy combatant.
He's not being treated as an enemy combatant, Phil.
He's basically a citizen. He has a green card. He has all the rights that a citizen of the United States has because he has a green card. Either you want to follow the Constitution of the United States or not. Go to Russia if you don't want to follow the rules.
He said that he did this for ISIS. He had a note in his thing. He had phone calls on his cell phone, and he says that he did it for ISIS. Therefore,
okay, so Phil, if you did that, you should be able to be treated as enemy combatant.
I think so.
GabNet. Reasons to listen every day. Log on to gabnet.net for more. GabNet. It's talk like you've never heard it before. Five years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hello, everybody. Hello. How are you? What's happening? This is the Ramble, of course, and the Ramble goes on until, let me see, it goes on until midnight Eastern Daylight Time. Yeah, we're on Daylight Time now. I suddenly realized we're on Daylight Time. Okay, well, anyway. Hey, we got a guest tonight, so let's check in with her. Lake Oswego, Oregon, which is right outside of Portland. I could say Portland, right? And I would be accurate on some level.
Nobody would object.
No, nobody would object. We once every 2 weeks check in with her to see how she is, health-wise, and just what's on her mind. And there's always there's always a lot on your mind.
And also what's on yours.
Well, you do a thing called timegoesby.net, right? It's your blog, and it's about what it's like to get old.
Yes.
All right.
And that way for 15 years.
Which really sucks, I might add. Okay. Now.
Well, you think so. I don't mind.
You don't mind. Okay. Well, all I'm saying is like today. There goes your phone.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Forgot to turn off the phone.
Yeah, I turn them all off. I leave them in another room, except for the watch, and the watch I have to turn off. Anyway, it is going to thunderstorm today, and my head feels like a fucking balloon, right?
Can I tell you?
Now, I didn't used to have that happen. Hey, it's going to rain. Big deal.
Things happened when you were a toddler that didn't happen later. Did you expect things not to change through life?
Yes. No, but here's the thing. I always heard about, old people could tell when the weather was going to change because their arthritis acted up, or their knee, or their rheumatism, or whatever. You remember that? And I always thought that was like an old wives' tale. It's not. It's not. I can tell. I say to my wife, I say, dear, is it supposed to rain tomorrow? And she says, yes. I said, I knew it. I could feel it, And this morning I woke up and my head was throbbing and everything, and it's the weather. So, and that's one of the things, folks, that sucks about getting old. Okay, did I name one thing that sucks about getting old? Okay, who am I to complain to you? Okay. By the way,
it is what it is.
Can I say that you are looking healthier right now than you have in a long time?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's the good news I got this week.
Which is?
I had chemo on Thursday.
Yeah.
My regular infusion.
Yeah.
But before that, they did a CT scan.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, 2 months ago, I had a CT scan with very, very good results.
Mm-hmm.
That the cancer nodules, or whatever they call them, had half of them had shrunk, and half of them were no longer visible. And they say it that way because that doesn't mean they aren't there. They just got smaller.
Right.
And they can't see them right now. And so this time, sort of the same thing happened.
Yeah.
But not, maybe not quite as much, but it happened.
Yeah.
And as he had suggested 2 months ago, the oncologist, because it looks so good, they're going to switch my CT scans from every 2 months to every 3 months.
Yeah.
And he said to me, you're going to be with us for quite a while yet.
Wow. That's good news.
That's not an official thing, you write down in a chart, and I don't know what a good while means. but I liked hearing that.
Yeah. So maybe now is the
is the and let's face it, we talk about chemotherapy, we all kind of a chill goes down our spine because it's supposed to be so brutal and so on and so forth, and you're kind of showing it, yes it is and then it isn't, but can it completely get rid of the cancers?
No, it doesn't do that. It slows the growth,
right,
so that you have more healthy time.
Yeah.
And it's different with everybody. You know, every chemo is different with everybody. So this seems to be working for me.
Yeah.
And he said that pretty soon, perhaps we will skip a dose and give me 4 weeks without chemo.
Oh, okay.
Which would just give me a rest. Because I had chemo on Thursday. I was tireder this time than usual. I was really, really tired.
Yeah.
And I spent most of the last 2 days in bed. I'd get up for a little while and just go back to bed. I just couldn't stay up. But this morning I got up and I've got a lot more energy. I'm not ready to run around the block, but yeah, I feel pretty good today.
You're feeling peppy and zippy.
Well, no, not. I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, okay. You wouldn't go that far. All right.
So this makes me feel very good. And the side effects, again, are the fatigue was heavier this time than it's been for a couple of times. And I have a couple of other very minor side effects that wouldn't affect much of anybody. And I feel something funny in my throat. You say you can't hear it, but my voice from the inside feels funny. But anyway, that was very good news for my 78th birthday.
Yeah, now she had her 78th birthday. And in a way, birthdays are now a big deal.
Yes. I really did not believe I would make it this far. Pancreatic cancer is lethal. And very few people, probably only 10% of pancreatic cancer patients live more than a year. And I'm up to nearly 2 years since the diagnosis. I had it longer than that, but since they diagnosed me, it's been 2 years. So I'm doing quite well. I'm quite happy about it.
You're doing very well. You're doing very well. Now, no sign of the pancreatic cancer coming back, right?
No, well, it has. It's in my lungs now, and it's in my peritoneum.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's spread from there, but I mean, in the actual pancreas itself, there's no growth.
Well, who knows? You know,
Who knows?
They see what they can see in the CT scan. It's pancreatic cancer. That's where it began, and that's what it's called.
Now,
it could spread to anywhere.
I heard a piece of news this week. I was watching the news, and they said, at 6:30, we'll tell you there may be a new cure for pancreatic cancer or something like that.
No, they didn't say cure. If they did, they're wrong.
Well, I wasn't able to hear the news because I had something else I had to do. So I had no idea what that item was. And do you know anything about any kind of new treatment?
Ignore it. About once a month, something like that comes along. It's announced. The news people make a big hullabaloo about it, and you'll never hear about it again.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And it's not a cure. Nobody's anywhere near a cure for pancreatic cancer. What they really would like to do, and what my surgeon talked to me about, and people he works with in research facilities around the world, is that they could find a blood test for it. Because one of the reasons so many people die of pancreatic cancer is they can't find it until it's so far gone, stage 4, there's nothing they can do. So what would be great is that they had a blood test. And he was telling me that even if it was a blood test for, let's say, 5 different kinds of cancer, you would at least have it, you know, you've got a goal. You've got 5 kinds of cancer you've identified, and then you can go through and see which one it is.
Right.
But they've been trying to do that for years and still haven't been able to accomplish it.
Yeah. Well, let me say to people who are not aware, the pancreatic cancer is probably, I would say, the most deadly of the cancers. I mean,
no, third most deadly.
What are the other 2? So I know what to worry about.
I think it's breast cancer and Certainly breast cancer and lung cancer.
But I would think that pancreatic cancer is the most deadly, because breast cancer, you can, if you go to the doctor and get a mammogram.
What they're doing is counting statistics, not guessing. It's how many people die from the universe of breast cancer or lung cancer or whatever.
But all I know is that I had a friend, for instance, at 32 who died of pancreatic cancer, and as soon as I heard that diagnosis, I said, he's dead. You know, I mean, it's when I say the most deadly of diseases, I don't mean more people die from it. I just simply mean that the prospect at the point that you find it out, because as you say, there's no way of finding it out till you're probably at stage 4.
You know, you're just amazing, Alex.
What?
You keep looking for hope where it doesn't exist.
No, what I'm saying is that I say that it's the most deadly because of the nature of the disease itself and the fact that it doesn't pronounce itself early. You know, with breast cancer, you take mammograms. With what was the second most cancer?
Lung cancer.
Huh? Lung cancer.
Lung cancer.
Well, there you can just quit smoking. You know, but you can get chest X-rays and things like that, and you know. But what you're saying is with pancreatic cancer, it's got to be pretty far gone before the symptoms even make themselves apparent.
Well, no, there's plenty of symptoms.
Did you have a lot of symptoms that were like weird and they couldn't figure out what it was?
Right.
Yeah.
For about 6 months they did that before they found it. And the reason is I don't know how much of me shows on the screen, but pancreas is somewhere like right down here.
Yeah.
And it's behind and hidden behind all kinds of other stuff that's in there. So you can't, like, if you've ever had a doctor kind of palpate your abdomen, what they're feeling is the liver and the stomach and that, and behind those things are the is the pancreas, and then you can't feel that because it's hidden behind those, so it's very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then there are people like Ruth Bader Ginsburg 10 or 12 years ago. They were doing something with her surgically that had nothing to do with pancreatic cancer, and they found it very, very early. And she didn't even have to have the Whipple. It was so early. But that rarely happens.
Whipple surgery, folks,
some other reason, and happened to find it.
When you say the Whipple, a lot of people don't know what we're talking about. That's a surgical procedure for pancreatic cancer.
Is it ever?
and they gut you like a carp, right?
Well, they right down the middle, and then they take out your excuse me, gallbladder.
Yeah.
Duodenum.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to then, I think there are a couple other things, and then they have to rearrange all the hoses to go to new places because these pieces are missing. And you have to take a certain enzyme for the rest of your life because you only have half your pancreas. They take out the diseased part.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it doesn't make enough enzymes to properly process food, so you have to take these pills for the rest of your life.
Wow. Well, I
have trouble remembering, but it's not a big thing.
But here's the big question I have for you. At this point in our discussion, what would you rather talk about, cancer or Donald Trump?
I can't pay attention to Trump. Actually, about Trump is there's never anything new with him. Every day he wakes up and does something meaner than he did yesterday. And he's a very mean, awful man. But it's all the same thing. It doesn't, you know, I mean, one day it's Kirsten Nielsen that he's dumping, but another day it's another person, or he's going to separate babies from their mothers again, or whatever he comes up with each day. It's just one more thing of, here we are, I'm going to make a whole lot of mess again, and I'm going to make you all talk about me. And I'm tired of it. I just don't pay attention anymore. I look at the headlines, and it's all the same thing it was last week. It never changes.
So actually what you're saying is cancer is a better discussion to have than Donald Trump.
I think it's a lot more interesting.
So we've determined by a test of our guest that cancer is better than Trump. I think that's what we've decided, right?
I guess so, something like that. Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, it's funny now that apparently I don't know, what length of time we're talking about when the doctor says a good while. I don't know what that means, but apparently better than I might have expected.
All right, let me put it in this context. Trump will be around as president for a while. Is that good or bad?
I don't know what that means either.
Okay.
But I'm going to have to rethink things. I've been thinking about what to do with my day-to-day life for the past couple of years, as though I was an extreme short-timer.
Yeah.
And so kind of, I'm not doing a very good job of it, but trying to get my life in order for my friend who's going to take care of everything when I die.
Yeah.
And things that, you don't go on with regular life. I mean, if I see a pair of pants or a sweater I like, am I going to buy it? I've got enough clothes.
Yeah.
And so I make decisions that way. But now I have to, my time maybe has expanded a little bit. So I have to think of how I use that time a little differently because it's not as short as I thought it was.
Yeah, but
I haven't worked that out yet.
Then again, I mean, I could say that I'm around for a while.
Well, I mean, obviously his intention was to say that I'm not going to die next week. You know?
I mean, 2 weeks from now, it could be that you won't hear from me. That's what I'm saying. There are always those possibilities. I had a friend of mine. God, I had a friend of mine. He was my lawyer, and he died. And I would go to the funeral, but he'd probably send me a bill posthumously. So, but he was a good lawyer to have. His name was Reamer. And that's a good name for a lawyer, Don't screw around with me or you're going to have to deal with my lawyer, Mr. Reamer. And I always like to joke about the fact that his mother had a divorce firm and it was a partnership, the divorce firm of Skinner and Reamer. So,
I'm sorry, that went right past me. Say again.
The divorce firm of Skinner and Reamer. So, anyway.
I guess I just see those as names. I'm sorry.
Skinner. Anyway, so I've been telling that joke for the last week since he died, but I felt really bad about that, because, the thing about getting older, and this at 78, is all the people you're seeing die now, and you're still here. You're still above room temperature, and they're going. And you say to yourself, wow, And they didn't go like at a young age. They went maybe...
Not if they're my age.
They went maybe at 77, and you go, oh, my God. It's like, as I always like to say a joke about my mother, that when she was 92, or when she was 95, a friend of hers died at 92, and she said to me, I swear to you, gee, and she was so young.
It's all perception.
It's all perception. Yeah. So, I mean, you see all these people that and they're going, and it's not fun. I mean, have you written about that on your blog, about that factor?
I must have mentioned it, yeah, but it, sorry. It comes with the territory. If you live long enough, I mean, every old person who lives a long time,
yeah,
that happens. You lose all your friends, and I think that's part of the dying process, that we no longer are connected to the world we understand. It's become a new place, and part of that is the people who are missing in our lives, and how the world runs from a social or cultural point of view, and what's important socially and culturally is very different from when we were in our 20s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
It's a whole new world,
right,
that we're not really part of.
Oh, we're invisible to it,
Well, I mean, you don't have to go that far. It's not entirely true. But the point is, I think that's important. in that when it comes near time to die, you need to be letting go and be prepared to leave, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that a large part of that is when old friends go, and when they die, it makes the world a little emptier, a little not like it was, not what we're familiar with.
Right. Can we go? Can we go kicking and screaming? Are we allowed to do that?
Whatever you. I think that there's no right way to die. Die any way you want.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking. I'll tell you. This may sound silly. Okay. So just tell me I'm being silly. But you know, I've always had a great fear of death. So lately, I've been trying to come to terms with that because you know it's down the road. I think it was.
It was just magic mushrooms.
It was but it was John Cleese who described it to me as the yawn ever yawning, the grave ever yawning. That you know, as I go towards the grave ever yawning, as he put it, he said blah 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 blah. Well, as I saw that, I sat down the other night and I looked over the screensaver I had of space, of stars, of planets and things like that. And I thought, maybe we just become space dust.
But that's true.
You
We
know?
all are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a new idea. It's a scientific fact.
That we're space dust. Well, maybe we go back to being space dust.
I mean, I thought the loveliest way it was put is Neil deGrasse Tyson. 10 years ago, he said, we are all space dust.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure dust was the word, but close enough. And that's just beautiful. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think maybe that is a true way of putting it. And I suddenly came to that conclusion. And I went further with it, and this is where I guess you'll say I'm stupid, is that I started to look at science fiction and the stories we tell in science fiction. And I'm just wondering if that isn't some kind of racial memory we have of what we really are.
I don't believe that.
Huh?
If you want to believe
well,
that.
Does that make some...
I mean, since nobody knows, you get to believe anything you want.
Mm-hmm. But that we write about things which are in our racial memory, and we don't know it. So we make up these things about space and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Who knows? You know, who knows? But
grass. Sorry about the cough. It's
yeah.
just bad. And
the phone.
Sorry.
I'd rather the cough than the phone, but you know.
But it's we get to believe whatever we want, you know, because nobody knows. Nobody ever came back and told us. So
yeah.
We can believe anything we want, and that's just fine.
By the way, what's the cough the result of? Is that your condition, or is it just years of smoking or whatever?
Oh, there's something in my... They're working on it. Yeah.
Oh, they're working on it.
Yes.
You go down, they put you up on the rack, they lube you, and then they work
I may
on it.
end up with one of those little things you breathe into once a day.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, better than wearing that thing over my shoulder.
Yeah, but we don't want to have to do a show where you've got one of those, you know, those whatever those things are that they. I've been told that that's oxygen, but I don't see how that's oxygen. I don't know, but it works.
It is oxygen. I've had it in the hospital.
Yeah.
It just pumps more oxygen into you more.
So you see, folks, we'd rather talk about dying, death, cancer, wait a minute, cutting yourself open like a carp, rather than Donald Trump. Okay, so we've proven that today. Now, what's going to be interesting...
But I didn't tell you is I had a nice birthday party.
Okay, tell us about that, yeah.
And my son came, and his wife, Kathy, and their son, Henry George, which sounds like a member of British royal family.
Yeah.
And some 3 or 4 other friends, and they did all the work. My friend came from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And she and Tom, my son, did all the work, and we had a fabulous meal. And a wonderful visit, and Henry seemed to have a good time too, Henry George, and I had since it was my birthday and I get to do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I found a fabulous dinosaur book I gave him, And little boys are into dinosaurs.
Oh, of course. I was into dinosaurs when I was a kid.
They weren't when we were kids.
When I was a kid, I was. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Well, we like them because they're big and they're klutzy, and they bump into things, and they're like kids.
You don't know that they bump into things. You made that up.
We just like them because they were big, you know.
Yeah, well, some were little, too.
Well, they never seem to put...
Do you know that I went through this book. There are a whole lot of new dinosaurs they found that weren't around when we were kids.
Oh, really?
Just a bunch more, yeah. And this kid is 4 years old, my grandkid.
Yeah.
And if you point to a T-Rex and call it something else, he will tell you the difference and correct you.
Oh, really?
He knows all of that stuff, yes.
That's incredible. That's just incredible. But so you had your birthday, and here's the thing. Here's the thing that's interesting, ladies and gentlemen, and you should know this, that when she says my son, that's a term she has only used for less than a year now.
Yes,
because out of nowhere, a child she had when she was, what, 18 were you at the time?
21.
Oh, you were 21.
Yes.
And I met her right after that. She gave up for adoption and never heard from. And then all of a sudden, because of all these DNA stuff and everything, she gets a note saying, this may be your son or close.
Well, it was a wonderful first line. He wrote in the email, it appears that you and I are intimately related.
So
no shit.
And this was after her diagnosis of cancer, okay? And all of a sudden, she finds this son she knew she had, but she had never been able to meet. And now you say, my son came over.
Yes,
and I'm going.
And he lives not about 45 minutes away.
Yeah, and he's how old, your son?
56.
56. So that really makes you feel.
That's really weird, isn't it?
Yes, it is really weird. Hey, we've run out of time, and you have been in sync for every single
Hey, we finally
second.
did it.
We finally did it. We finally put you in sync. Hey, good talking to you, sweetheart. Let's do it again in 2 weeks, okay?
We will. Take good care.
Ladies and gentlemen.
5 years and still talking. This is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Well, I cut her out there a little towards the end there. I'm sorry. What it was, I'll tell you what happened. We were doing the interview, and I said goodbye. And the last thing that happened after I said goodbye was her, I dare not say the word, echo, because that's my keyword for it over there. I suddenly started talking out of the clear blue sky. So I wanted to try and catch that, and I didn't. What the hell? Anyway, let me open up the lines here. Should I tell you I feel like crap today? I don't know. I've got something up here. I don't know. Maybe the loose tooth I've had for years may finally need to be pulled. Either that or it is a sinus infection that I've got there. Anyway, so it's been making me feel like crap. Okay? But I'm drinking the coffee, and that's good for me. Anyway, I have now opened the lines, folks. And that means that here comes our first call. Ah, yes, our first call tonight, and let me get him into our pictures here. Vernon Nunn, and let's see here. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, and here comes Phil Meyer right behind him. And I've got to let me grab him and put him in there. Well, he's not there yet. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me cancel that, and let me go back to here again and try and get. There he is. Okay, all right, he's there. Okay, and so we can add Phil to the bunch. Okay, I changed my background tonight in case anybody's noticing. Because I wanted to make sure I had one that was a non-royalty or royalty-free background. So there you go. There's my royalty-free background. You like that, folks? It's kind of nice. Hello
like
to
paper.
what?
Looks like blue paper that's been crumpled up, or real paper.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Hi, Vernon.
How are you doing tonight?
Okay, that's Vernon, and hello, Phil.
Hey, how you doing this evening?
That's Phil. So yeah. So what's new?
Well, elections in Israel. They're saying that Netanyahu has a lead, but it could be anybody's election at this point.
Well, I don't give a shit. I just hope Netanyahu doesn't win because he's a prick.
Yeah, well, I want him to annex the West Bank.
You really do? I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, you are an American. You are not an Israeli. So what are you doing rooting for one side or another? It's none of your fucking business.
Well, I may be an Israeli one day.
Why?
Because I've been thinking about it. And,
why?
I want to be able to vote in their elections.
Why would
he wants to go sell magic carpets?
It's the Jewish homeland.
It's not the fucking Jewish homeland. It's a place where a bunch of Jews went to live.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll retire.
And that's one of the reasons I don't move to Williamsburg. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you could start off that way. You could go to live in Williamsburg here, find out what it's like living with nothing but Jews, and then maybe you could move to Israel.
Oh, that's not Williamsburg, Virginia, huh?
No, is it William? What is it, William? Isn't the area in town here Williams? Is it called Williamsburg or is it Williams? It's William something.
Yeah, that's not where the Russians are, right?
Yeah, that's also where the Russians are, but the Russians are Jews.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Charlie Wallace is calling in. Let me see here. Let me give him a place in the group. Let me see here. Oh well, I find I have to wait a little bit before I try and put somebody in because I have to get a picture on them first. And do I have a picture on Charlie Wallace? No, I brought him in, and he's not here. Okay. Cancel.
If you do get a picture, that's going to max out your 3 screen.
Yeah. But what happened to you, Charlie? We lost you. Call back again. Okay. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm saying just put your toe in the water. Go to an all-Jewish neighborhood somewhere in New York. Live there for a while, and if you can stand hanging out with Jews, that many Jews at one time.
I lived in Miami for a while.
Oh, there's Charlie. He's in there, but we don't have his. I don't think we have his. Are you there, Charlie?
I'm trying.
I'm trying. Yeah, all we have on you, I think, probably, is just a. See, we have a little Skype picture there. When there's no video, there we go.
Oh, bingo!
All right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
It's like giving birth.
Yeah, that's how it's done, folks. That's how we get a citizen panel together. We got at least 3, so that's something. And Charlie, you want to move to Israel?
No.
Okay, me neither. You know why?
Make a good Israeli.
Too many fucking Jews there.
Well, there's enough Arabs to keep you happy.
Actually, it's not much different climate than here in Arizona. So.
Really?
You're right. So you're already. You see, he doesn't even know what the heat is like there.
Yeah. I lived in Miami.
No,
no, that's humidity.
That's humid.
That's humid. This is dry heat. This is what does it get to in that part of the country? It's 130 degrees. You think you can take that, Phil?
Well, I went to Phoenix once in the summer, and it's damn hot. I mean, I don't know how people take it.
But, we had a mild summer last summer. It only got to 117.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Dubai, I guess.
Yeah. By the way, funny thing, I got a note from somebody who was watching my videos and stuff, who listens to our show and watches our show in Dubai. And
Yeah.
and it's not our
Brie.
it's not Brie. No, it's somebody else altogether. So,
Yeah.
So I figured we probably are just killing in Dubai.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Well, Bree walks around with Gabnet on, and so maybe some people have picked up on it. But I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I think it's pretty.
Only
cool.
when he's in Malaysia.
Yeah, only when he's in Malaysia. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So this Dubai in.
Yeah.
Is he going to call in or she?
I don't know. I wrote him a note, and it would be nice if they did. By the way, Jeff called at the same time he did last time, so he comes in right in the same square. Yeah, so I didn't even have to put his name in there.
Square.
I didn't have to put his name in there. If you had called first, Phil, yours would have come up just like that too.
Oh, yeah, because the last time I was in the top left.
Yeah, and I can move you any. What?
Well, the thing is, you listen to.
What happened? We just lost Jeff. Are you there? We lost Jeff.
Jeff went bye-bye.
Oh well, Jeff went bye-bye. Who knows what happened to Jeff? Oh well. Yeah, hopefully he will call back. I'll put him back on when he calls back. Hurry back, Jeff, so you can get your square back.
Yeah. It looks like you're having fun with this thing.
It's a whole new thing. Yeah. I like this new background now. It's a little easier to look at. There's not as much of a pattern.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
So there are backgrounds that are not free use.
Well, you can take any background you find on the web, and you can use it until somebody notices you've been using it, and they figure it's theirs, and then they can tell you to stop or whatever. Well, so I went somewhere where it said royalty-free backgrounds. So
I see.
Ta-da! This is a royalty-free background, folks. And plus the other one was girlfriend felt it was a little too busy. I didn't think so, but she felt it was, and this isn't busy.
It was pleasant, but you're right. It isn't. It was more busy than this.
Yeah. So anyway, we're still waiting for Jeff to call back. I don't know what happened to him, but his square is there, and we'll keep.
You're not feeling well?
Nah, I'm not feeling well. Here we go. Here comes Jeff again. There we go. There we go. Jeff, are you there? There we go. Now I can put him back on. There we go. What happened to you, Jeff?
I don't know.
And then they can.
You don't know.
Someday I'll figure this out.
So I went somewhere where it said royalty-free background.
Now I got background.
No, turn down the audio from the video.
And plus the other one was a girlfriend felt it was.
There we go. See.
Yeah.
It no longer is it turn down your radio; it's turn down your internet. And before it used to be you had a 7-second delay. Here we got we lost him again.
Wow.
But maybe he's having some connectivity issues.
He could be having some connectivity issues. That could well be. Oh boy. Well, anyway. By the way, if anybody wants to call, and it's very easy now. Before you used to have to write and ask me to make you a contact, and then you could get on and get with the group. Now I think I can put anybody who calls into the group. So if you want to call, it's Gabnet Live. That's our ID. And you just call Gabnet Live and GABNETLIVE, or you can go to the Gabnet site, and over on the right-hand side of the page, there's a whole bunch of stuff about how to get on the citizen panel, but then there's a little button, or not a button, but it's like just some writing that you can switch on to. What does it say? Let me see here. I forget what I wrote. Link will initiate Skype to call Gabnet. And you click on that, and it's that easy. That's how you can call us. It's no problem.
You can call 347-352-0079.
Yeah, but I don't like I would rather they do the video. So let's not encourage the audio. But you can call by phone too. There's a phone number over there, and you can call that as well. And new people are always welcome. We love to see new people. Look here, Jeff is still frozen, so we're waiting for him to call back. or we'll have to give his space up to somebody else, you know.
So what did you do this weekend? Did you do anything interesting?
Did I do anything interesting? What did we do this weekend? Well, girlfriend on Sunday wanted to go to lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to this place down on, it's about 80th Street or something like that.
Yeah.
And we had lunch, and it's a very nice place, and we go there often. Then we decided, what the hell, let's walk home. So we
with
walked,
her bad knee.
Yeah. So we walked all the way. We walked what had to be about a mile and a half, something like that. You know.
Yeah.
We went from 80th Street all the way up to 116th, and over. So that's it's about 2 miles, I guess. And,
so you saved the cab fare.
And I did a live Facebook while I was doing that.
Yeah.
All right. And I put it up. And since I put it up, let's see here, it's had 616 people that have watched it.
Wow.
More than watch this show.
Why do you think that is? Because it's on Facebook and you have 5,000 followers, of which probably 600 something are real.
616. And then the day before, we were down.
The others are hookers.
Yeah, the day before we were down at the Harlem, what do you call it? The Malcolm Shabazz Bazaar, which was Malcolm X's name, and there was a jazz group playing there, and I just turned on my camera and broadcast it live over Facebook, and we got 398.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Now Periscope, that's gone the way of the dodo bird, or?
Well, it's still there. That is which company is that? That's
I don't know.
That's wait a minute. No, that's Twitter's.
Oh, so then that's that's
their
Facebook.
Their Facebook.
No,
Live.
Twitter. Instagram is Facebook, right?
I think I don't know. I can never get Instagram to work.
Yes.
Can you?
I don't remember. I signed up for it in 2012 or something, and I don't remember my password.
Yeah, I can't get it to work. I try to do something with it, and it just doesn't. It doesn't work. Okay, yeah. So I mean, have I become to the point where I'm just like don't know how to run the kids' stuff anymore? I used to be.
Maybe you just don't want to.
I used to be into all this technology and everything else. By the way, I have my ibuprofen with me in case my mouth starts to hurt again. So,
does it work that quickly?
You know what it is? I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem is what we got going in New York right now is it's raining, okay? And somehow that air pressure affects my mouth. It affects teeth and so on. Anybody else have that same problem when the air pressure is changing?
No.
And it's going to rain.
That's my knee.
Yeah, we see. Okay. So anything that's weak in you has like I got a loose tooth here, so that starts to hurt, right? That starts to bother me. I have a big filling down here. That tooth sometimes bothers me a little bit. But it's key to the weather is what's strange.
Alex, when it comes to that kind of pressure, there's certain air spaces in your body, and you learn from scuba diving to be able to equalize those spaces. And your jaw and teeth and things like that are affected by the sinuses. Yep. So
what do I have to do? Put on scuba gear?
No, there's two ways you can do it. You can either move your jaw forward and swallow, and that will help. Or you can squeeze your nose
Vernon's
and blow out your ears, and I'm not kidding.
Go blow it out your ears. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So that's called a Valsalva. And if you do one of those two things, even if you're on an airplane and your ears are starting to bother you, by doing a Valsalva, the reason you do the one with the jaw is if you're wearing a full face mask and you can't grab your nose, but it also works. So, just forward and swallow, and that will help with the equalization, and it may help with the pressure you're feeling.
Now, I don't know anything about this about the new Skype, but I'm wondering if I could call Jeff Stein, but I don't see him on the list anymore. He was part of like a group, but
is he green?
No.
If you look at his contact,
is he green? No, I don't think so. I don't know. He may be having trouble tonight. You know.
Yeah.
He may be having some trouble. I don't know. You know.
Yeah.
What happens if I do that? Oh, here, I could give him a call. Well, let's see here. Is he? Charlie Wallace. Jeff Stein, he's online.
All right.
But it only says I can ring him. I don't know. I'm not going to try. Somebody else has to call and take his place, okay? It's the law, ladies and gentlemen. It's the law. Do you know we have a...
First come, first serve.
I don't know why it is, but we have a ton of people watching right now. I don't know why. We're getting larger numbers lately. And, here comes Jeff again. All right, let's hope he stays on.
I think the larger numbers may be due to the nice output that you're putting. You know,
it could be. The picture looks great. Anyway, so anybody? Hello, Jeff. What was your problem? You had a problem with the machine?
Well, I'm on right now, but I'm not on the new method that you're using.
Oh,
I'm kind of using the old way.
What do you mean the old
the
way?
old?
So,
the
yeah,
old...
which means I see 4 of you guys, and then myself, all a smaller.
You're on Skype. You're not watching it through YouTube.
Right.
So on Skype, that's the way it looks.
No, on Skype, no. What you see, if you look at YouTube, that's an entirely different picture than what you're going to see on Skype. Okay? It's my own creation. This is the way I think Skype should look. Okay? But what I'm doing is I'm taking each individual caller and I'm placing them in their own box. That's the way this thing works. Okay? So don't worry about your Skype. Your Skype is the way your Skype is because that's Skype. You know.
Yeah.
So.
I understand.
Anyway.
So if you have a second computer or a phone or something, you can look at it on Skype.
Yeah.
And you can see the difference, but it will be about 30 seconds behind.
Well, what's the right way to put the YouTube on?
Just call YouTube. Just call YouTube. Just call Gabnet Live on YouTube.
On another device, or you can open up YouTube, but just turn the volume down.
Yeah, that's the only thing. But otherwise, what you see on YouTube, okay, not on Skype, but what you see on YouTube is different than you're going to see on Skype. Okay?
Yeah, because it has all the different.
Yeah.
See this laptop?
Yeah.
So that's the YouTube feed.
Yeah.
And Skype is what you're seeing.
Yeah. So it's good. Anyway, enough of the technology. We do too much of that technology shit. We just lost 2 people. Anyway, yeah.
You know my son Andrew. I think you met him.
Yeah.
So he's in San Francisco
today.
So I talking to him. I said, "Where are you?" I thought I was in California. He says, "Oh, I'm in San Francisco." I says, "Oh, you're gonna go see Phil?" He goes, "No."
Funny thing is, I had lunch today with a friend of mine, Dave, and his son's name is Andrew.
Anyway, so if anybody would like to call, you can just call Gabnet Live. I would love to see some new people. It'd be nice to see some new people, and I just put you right in there, and you come in on one of these. We have a box waiting for you. Okay, all right.
I think there's also one other factor that may have increased your audience. Your attitude has become much more positive about this because of the YouTube feed. For one reason or another, you're much more enthusiastic, and I think you're happier because of what you created.
And I've got a pain in my face. Okay, fine.
Just do the Valsalva, blow it out your ear.
No, it's not. That's not going to work. I don't know what it is, but I hope it goes away and it doesn't cost me a fortune. Anyway, let's get on to other stuff. I woke up this morning, turned on the TV, and I always hope and pray it's on The Price is Right, but unfortunately, no. It was where girlfriend had left it on MSNBC. And what do I see but this big fat turd, Bill Barr. Now, you see, the fact is that Trump doesn't have a name for him, and there are so many we can call him. Big fat turd, big fat guy, roly-poly Bill, anyone, a number of things. And I'm watching him, and I am so impressed by his presentation because it was so unorthodox when it came to being a public person, being somebody in the public arena. He was snotty, he was nasty, he was mean, he was vindictive, he was...
Kind of like the Democrats.
Huh? Phil, you don't always have to add something like that into the conversation.
Yeah, but it's
no,
true.
It wasn't like the Democrats. Bill Barr's a piece of shit. And he proved himself to be that today. I'm not going to answer any more of your questions. Well, fuck you.
Good.
You're a public servant. You work for me, you asshole.
We pay for the
president.
No, he works for me. The president works for me. He works for you, too.
That's right. We pay for his insurance.
Yeah, we paid for his fucking inaugural.
Well, did...
no, wait a minute. Other people did.
Did he release anything today? I thought this is the... it's the 15th that he's going to release.
Yeah. Once we get your tax money, we'll let you see the Mueller report. You know, I mean, fuck Bill Barr. Jeez almighty. I mean, he was just amazing. Oh, here comes Ken Stopper. Let me see here. Where can we put him? We can put him in the 5th position. Let me get. Let's see here. Where am I? Ken Stopper. There he is. Okay. I go okay, and then I bring that up, and then I bring him in, and there we go. I'm doing this really fast now. I'm good at this. Yeah. If I wore my glasses, it would be even faster. But anyway, what did you think, Vernon? Did you watch any of that piece of shit today?
No, I was building houses for Habitat today, so I didn't get a chance.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then you lucked out. How about you, Kevin? Did you see him?
Oh, yeah. He was a piece of work, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, it just, you could have at least gone to this thing and been conciliatory. You could have just been a little on your best behavior to say, okay, here I am, and what questions do you have? I'm happy to answer.
No, he did not do that. He basically told them, I ain't telling you shit until it all comes out, and I'll tell you when it comes out.
Yeah. Now, admittedly, the reason he was before that committee wasn't for the Mueller report. He was in front of that committee to get more money for the Justice Department, for the budget.
Did they give it to him?
I don't think they even asked him a question about it.
It was everything else but. Yeah.
It was everything else but. And of course they'll give him the money. Why not? We pay the Justice Department. We like paying the Justice Department. Why, I have no idea, but But
Comey's retirement.
Yeah, I just felt that he was Comey doesn't get his retirement. He was let go a day before he could get it or something like that, remember?
Yeah, was that Comey or
was it Comey?
No, that was Andrew McCabe.
Oh, that was Andrew McCabe. Yeah. Did Comey get out in time to get his pension?
He might have had enough time in.
Yeah.
These guys can. I don't know how many years McCabe was in there, but you can retire early. You just don't get as large a pension.
Yeah,
like
you don't
cops.
get the full pension.
Right. With cops, let's say they're a certain age and they've got so many years, they'll get a percentage of the pension.
Yeah.
And it'll just be slightly shy. It's like taking Social Security when you're 62, but you can also take it when you're 64, but you'll get less than at 66 or 5.
I really, I think if you're just like a congressman for 2 years and then you don't run again, I think you still get the medical benefits for the rest of your life, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, what a racket that is. What we should do in every neighborhood, we should have or every city, we should have one congressional slot that we give away in a lottery. Okay, and
they did that with Ocasio-Cortez.
If you, oh gee, Phil, do you have that's come on, no, but then you have that one, and then they go there and they get and the winner of the lottery gets free medical for life. Good.
Yeah, well, you can also do that just by coming over the wall and saying you need asylum. They'll give you the free medical. And an education.
Actually,
Phil, are you trying
any? Ocasio-Cortez beat somebody. Beat somebody who had been in office for a decade.
20 years. 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had been elected 10 terms.
2 decades.
Yeah. So
if you had the choice of voting for her or him, even if she didn't open her mouth, I would have voted for her.
I would have voted her
she's
for.
Hot.
I'd vote for her if she just opened her mouth. So I mean. I find, to begin with, you're going to disagree with this. I find Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to be really terrific. I find her to be. I think she, right out of the chute, she was up and running. She didn't just sit around like most congressmen during their first term and sit there and keep quiet. She jumped right into the fray, and I think she's done a great job so far.
I like her spunkiness.
Very smart.
I just don't like what her message is.
Well, what is her message?
New Green Deal.
Well, now what's the New Green Deal?
No cows.
No. Now you see,
that's not part of it.
Phil, if you're going to not like something, you'd better know what it is.
Of course, I know what it is.
Oh well, what is it?
No cows, no airplanes, and no Republicans.
No.
Except for that third one, yeah.
No Republicans. You're correct on that one, Phil.
Yeah.
You're right on target with that one.
Yeah. Socialism.
Socialism. That's a bad word, isn't it? It's a horrible
very bad
thing. It's a horrible thing.
Especially in Venezuela. And she wants medical for all.
Venezuela isn't.
She wants
by the way,
why is medical for all bad?
Because we can't afford it.
Well, yes, we can. Every other country can in the industrial world.
Yeah, and most other countries. You seem to say that this isn't true, but I've heard enough stories about it. Other countries have waiting lists and aren't getting the care.
Phil, have you asked anybody in those other countries? Because I have.
Yes, I have.
Yes, and okay.
And many of them have told me that if they don't have insurance so that they could go to the United States to get medical care, they would have died.
Really? If Ted Randall, my old friend from San Francisco, a radio guy, hadn't moved to Canada, he'd be dead right now. But he's 92 now.
Yeah.
And he said he would be dead now because of the things he's got wrong with him and the kind of help he would get for them in the United States.
And the death panels, because they would deem him, in many cases, too old.
Insurance companies have death panels.
Yes.
Yeah. Jeff wants to say something.
Yes, Jeff.
I have experience going to Australia.
Yeah.
And I was there, and, I have difficult medical drugs and problems and this and that. And I said, what do I do? Just go to the hospital. I'll take care of you. They sure took care of me fine. And I was in and out of there, and I said, well, how do I pay? I said, it's no charge.
It's on us.
Yeah. We don't pay anybody for that.
It's on us. Yeah, absolutely.
They wanted to get you out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't die on our soil.
Well, let's see here. Where are we? I've got to find him. He's Darth. Yes, Darth Pat is his nom de plume, and there he is, ladies and gentlemen.
There's something 1138.
There's Patrick, and Bree is calling us, so I've got to go over and we'll go to our 8 panel. Yeah, I got to switch templates, and let me see here. Wait a minute. Why is he there? Well, he shouldn't be there. Let's see here. Where is Bree? There's Bree. Okay, all right.
He's in Dubai.
Bree, is he there? Bree, are you gonna turn yourself on, or are we gonna have to look at a? Are we gonna have to look at it? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, turn on the camera, would you? Even if you don't point it at yourself.
He really wants to fill those spots.
Yeah, because I hate seeing that Skype logo. I hate them so much. There we go. Okay, that's Bree down there. That's his wherever, his living room or something.
Happy crippleversary there, Pat.
Oh yeah, you had your crippleversary on what, Sunday?
Sunday.
Wow.
Yep, 16.
You know what happened? It happened on my ex-wife Ronnie's birthday.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So maybe her birthday existing forced you to become crippled. I don't know. Just saying. I have no idea. But
you need one more to fill the.
Yeah, I know. I can count.
Template.
Yeah. But we're not a full house. Full house we'd have to have two more. So, if two of you out there want to call, we'll be happy to have you on.
I thought this screen was the new Full House.
No. It's still got to be 9 plus me.
All right.
And this would be 8 plus me, and that would make it 9, but that wouldn't make it a full house. We would have to go over to the other panel. And that would be this one, okay, which people are seeing right now. And then what I would have to do, it would have to be this one, and then I would have to add the full house, which would be that. See, we do that, folks, but we're not a full house yet, so we're not going to do that. And we'll go back to, let me get rid of.
So did you make a royal flush? And is the royal flush a toilet?
No, the royal flush is a royal flush. It's like the royal flush.
Whatever the cards are,
Whatever the cards are, yeah, absolutely. So anyway, we need 2 more people in order for you to get that full house, folks.
But you haven't made it yet, right? The royal flush?
No, we haven't made the royal flush yet. And there's one beyond that.
I know, but the royal flush should be a toilet. And there should be a sound.
Now you're telling me how to run my program. We're staying with the card and casino motif. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, Patrick, did you happen to see Bill Barr today?
No, I didn't really give a shit.
No. Well, if you gave a shit, you'd be able to see a piece of shit, and that's exactly what he is.
Well, he looks like John Goodman with glasses, so.
The only thing is that John Goodman is a better looking guy.
That's true.
Yeah.
But when he stood up at one point, I mean, I've seen snippets on the news.
Yeah.
When he stood up, his girth, not anymore, because he'd lost weight, but the John Goodman we've known from the past, his girth and just his stature, it just looked like he was John Goodman. I thought, well, shit, okay.
Well, Josh Wheeler is calling now, so let me see here. Let me go over here and
John Goodman is getting typecast as Fred Flintstone, isn't he? Isn't he getting typecast as Fred Flintstone?
I've got to hold on a second. No, he's not being typecast as Fred Flintstone. In fact, he just got a new job. They're going to be doing Monsters Inc. Let me see here. I got to see, where is Stopper? There's Josh. Okay. See, it starts getting a little complicated for Pops here. There we go. There we go. We filled up the 8th spot there. We need one more for a full house. And then we're But anyway, this guy it was just a. Did you hear him at all, Bree? All the way in Dubai.
About, you mean the bar thing?
Yeah, the bar.
Oh,
Yeah, it's. I mean, I see it online. I don't think that it's been in any of the newspapers or anything.
They don't care over there.
Not really.
Are you guys following the Israeli election?
I saw it online. I haven't been reading the local newspaper. I've been a little busy, so.
Yeah. By the way, I found another guy in Dubai who listens to our show.
Really?
Yeah. So I think we're the #1 live show this time of night in Dubai. At least I'm trying to look at it that way. Hello, Josh Wheeler. How are you? Did you hear Bill Barr today?
Only briefly.
Yeah.
So not quite that much. I heard some of the talk after, but not much of his testimony.
What did you think of his demeanor?
I really, honestly, I didn't see much of it.
Okay.
I just heard literally maybe less than 30 seconds, and then I heard some of the talk afterwards on some of the news channels. So I did not actually see very much of it.
Yeah.
Was he combative or something?
He was very combative. Very combative.
Yeah. I heard that he said that he's not the one redacting, or tried to say, the report, that Bob Mueller is doing that. Now, whether or not that's entirely true or that's a little bit of a stretch.
I don't know if he said that, actually.
No, I don't think he said that. He was saying more that he was just defending his 4-page letter, and he kind of defended. He didn't want to defend what people were putting in his mouth about the full what Trump was running around saying about being no collusion. He was trying to not defend it, but not say that it was actually no collusion. He was dancing around that a lot.
Yeah.
But you could tell that he wasn't actually fully defending it, but he wasn't. It was a lot of bullshit as well.
From what you could get from what he said, do you think once it's released, the American public is going to be satisfied with it? I mean, except for Phil.
No, from what I got from it is that there's going to be a lot of wash. It's going to be washed out, and they're going to have to go to court for it.
Yeah.
And the Democrats already know that, so they're already filling out the paperwork to get it to court.
Unless it's said that Trump was guilty, the Democrats will never be satisfied.
I don't know about that. I don't think it's not going to say that he's guilty.
We want to know to what extent he may or may not have obstructed justice. Now, if he didn't obstruct justice, then he shouldn't care if every inch of that report came out. Okay.
He said he didn't care.
He said he didn't care.
I want to see his taxes. I want to see where he's conflicted.
Hey, it's not required that he produce them. And
every other presidential
don't give a
candidate since Nixon.
Phil, that is bullshit. That is bullshit, because when I go and I rent an apartment in New York City, I have to give them my tax return.
Yep.
Well, that's because you're a stiff. Donald Trump is a billionaire. He's buying the apartments. He's not renting.
You know something? If we saw his taxes, we might find out he's not a billionaire.
According to the people in the know, he's basically worth about $3.1 billion.
Well, but because that's what he says and that's what he puts out there.
I don't think
Trump Tower has 68 stories too.
I don't think we care whether he's a billionaire or not. I just think we care whether he's honest on his tax returns or not, because that's the big point: is whether he's bullshitting on his returns.
Well, he says he's under audit.
Every president we've had, in my memory, has literally put out. Hold on a second. Their tax returns.
Because they got nothing to hide.
Because they have nothing to hide, but their tax returns. No, I guess maybe they didn't have to, but they did anyway. Okay?
Correct.
And then he says, but I'm under audit. Every president who released their tax returns were under audit when they released them.
And when you release them, that is an audit. So bring them on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So anyway, yes, Bree, did
them.
you have your hand up?
Yeah, I don't think that the tax returns are going to tell you much of anything because they're just an illusion, along with, you know, the impressions that Donald Trump gives. The impressions are there. Mm-hmm. You know, the impression already is that he's been exonerated. Now, there's a hardcore group of people who want to find some evidence to the contrary, but the impression is already there, and it'd be very difficult to overcome that impression. And that's what he's very good at. So even if you saw the tax returns, Alex, what would it do? Are you going to say, oh, okay, these tax returns now show that he must go away from being president? No. Are they going to show that he's not a billionaire? Not necessarily, because he could say, because it measures your income for a year, not your wealth overall. Mm-hmm, so, so the tax returns aren't going to tell you anything. This is just it's like the laser pointer with the cat. People are just chasing this, but ultimately, it's not really going to tell you something that is going to make him go from the presidency. No, he's going to be there, and the only way to get him out is potentially to vote him out. And even then, I don't know that it's going to be a smooth transition unless he gets a deal with the incoming person, like a Gerald Ford, that basically says, "Hey, look, if anything comes up, I need you to pardon me, or in the interest of the country," kind of a Gerald Ford thing. But I don't think seeing his tax returns is going to affect anything. He'll spin it one way or the other, just like everything else. And whoever gets out in front and makes the case, makes the impression, that seems to be what sticks with him.
But my question is, and I keep asking this over and over again, he obviously doesn't want us to see his tax returns. And the question is, why?
Correct.
Because it's none of your business.
Yeah.
Keeps the story going.
Charlie, are you there? He's had his fingers up, and then he suddenly went offline.
Said Charlie, well, yeah.
Yeah, he'll come back online. I'll leave him in there anyway, because as soon as he comes back online, that picture will rejuvenate itself.
Did you see the Rasmussen poll today? Showing that Trump has a 53% approval.
Do you know?
Rasmussen is the worst poll in the United States.
Rasmussen is, to begin with, it's not Rasmussen like Rasputin.
Close, Rasputin.
It's Rasmussen. And the Rasmussen poll is run by a guy who is in Trump's pocket, okay, and in the Republicans' pocket. And every time he has ever put out a poll, oh, the Republicans are doing so damn well, and they're not. Do
you remember during the 2016 election that the Rasmussen poll was the only one that got it right?
Well, yeah.
All the other polls had.
But why was the reason for that, Phil? That was because he was shilling for the Republicans.
No, maybe because
wait a minute,
he was right.
Let me finish. He was shilling for the Republicans, and this time, just like the clock is right twice a day, he was correct. All right.
Not all right.
No, of course, you want to believe what you want to believe. Yes, Patrick.
What
and you don't?
It's a hell of a one to get right, because the left hasn't come down from their perch of suicide since. Right, a clock is a stop clock is right twice a day, but again, that's a hell of a one to be right on.
Yeah.
I mean, the Democrats still haven't recovered.
Well, so. I mean, you can live on that one for a while by saying, see, I was right on that election. Well, I think Nate Silver was right on that election, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but the Democrats nobody's recovered yet. Mm-hmm. We're still talking in this group on whether or not, we should have, election with I mean it's been affecting everything for 2 fucking years. It's time to get over it.
Well, I would agree with you that the Democrats have to change their street game. Okay, I think they have to quit concentrating on trying to catch Trump and everything and just run their own game. you know, and say, here's what we're going to do. And I think if they go in front of the American public and say, you know, we're going to make your lives better and here's how we're going to do it, and make a really good case for it, it's going to say trump anything that Trump does, because he doesn't come up with ideas, he just comes up with a tax, you know.
You've got a very short memory on the Congress. You know, they've had 50 years to come up with something and they haven't. It doesn't matter whether the Republicans are running it or the Democrats are running it.
What do you mean? This Congress came up with the Congress came up with Medicare. They came up with a lot of things over the years.
What year was that?
That was during Johnson. But there've been a lot of things.
Are
since
any
then.
of those guys still alive?
Well, my watch is talking to me. Oh, why did my watch suddenly go to color? I had it on black and white.
Hello, Mickey.
Yeah, I know. I had it on black and white. Oh, there's my black and white Mickey. You see, there's the black and white Mickey. I like him in black and white. Reminds me of Steamboat Willie. Yes, Patrick.
Well, like I said, I think it was last week, you know, bringing up the Congress. Mm-hmm. You're right, with the Democrats need to switch up their game. Just like the Republicans, you know, all they want to do is get rid of Obamacare, but they never came up with one idea on what to replace it with. And they've had almost 2 years up until this last election to do that. Mm-hmm. And even before that, when Obama was proposing everything. So the Republicans have no ideas when it comes to health care and how to reform or replace. And just the same the Democrats, they're going to try to tie everything to Trump. Leave Trump alone. The more you bring Trump up, the more you bring his base up. Ignore him and concentrate on what you guys want, and then you might have a fighting chance of beating him.
Well, I think one of the first things that a Democrat should say is, look, politicians always make, promises when they're running for office. We're not going to make promises. We're going to tell you what we think a perfect America should be, and hope that we can achieve that if we get the presidency, and then propose. Wait a minute. You let me finish. Jesus Christ!
Sounded like you did.
No, it didn't. I did. I paused for a breath. I have to do that every now and then. I'm a mammal.
I thought you were a professional. You don't breathe.
What was I going to say now? That we just have to say, here's what we think would be perfect for America. You know, here are the things you should have. Among them, the right to good health, as an example, and a right to a job, and the right to a lot of things. You know, and that a good president will bring you this sort of stuff rather than just close down borders and cost you money. You know, and of course, they are going to be fighting against what's his name, against Trump. So they're going to have to battle him. But play your own game, run your own game.
The game you're asking them to play.
Yeah,
they're playing against the guy that's got unemployment down to the lowest point that it's been in 49 years. It's got the highest employment for blacks and Hispanic. And
is it the lowest? Vernon, fact check. Is that the truth? How about Josh Wheeler? Is it the lowest?
It may be there. It may be there now, but Trump did not cause it to happen.
It's under his watch.
Wait a minute.
He didn't cause it to happen.
When he got elected.
Under his watch. We're talking about whether he was responsible for it. Let Vernon. Would you let Vernon finish, please?
Sure.
Yes, Vernon. Go right ahead.
The economy started improving under Obama.
Yeah.
And the economy has kept improving even though Trump was elected. But Trump is going to take credit for it because that's typically what happens. You know, whenever a new president comes along, he's going to take credit for things that happen that are good. Mm-hmm. And they're going to blame the bad things that might happen on the predecessor. That's the way it's always been.
Yeah. So you mean when Clinton's economy was doing really well, it was Bush's and Reagan's fault?
No, because it had been down when he came into office. It hadn't been going upwards as it was with Obama.
Because these kinds of things are cyclical.
No, the president, yes, Jeff has his hand up. Yes, Jeff.
I can't get this off.
Yeah, you're okay. You're fine. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, strange. Okay. The trend is your friend, and Phil, you got to understand the trends were already going for Obama.
Yeah.
And
like 1% growth.
The guy who changes the trend, that's the important guy.
It was the removal of regulations.
No, it wasn't.
And the strength in the oil.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Factor
no,
that has
boosted
this country.
Obama's growth was at 2%, Phil. It was not 1%. It was at 2%.
And what was Trump's in the first year?
Not
almost
much more.
4.
No, it was 4 during one reporting period only.
And right now I think it's 3, and Obama said that it would be impossible that it was that the growth could be that high, and that's what Trump promised, and that's what he delivered.
Really? Look that up, Phil. I want to hear Obama saying that.
Well, then you look it up.
Obama saying that. Look it up. Look it up and tell me where to find it.
I don't know where to find it. I've heard it on the news all of this time.
It's bullshit, and you know it.
It's not bullshit. I'm not making it up.
You're saying
then prove it. Prove it.
I don't have to prove it.
Yes, you do.
You look it up.
You have to prove it.
Lazy?
You have to prove it. You said it. You made the
claim.
Yeah, so you disprove it. Go ahead.
No, you prove it. You made the claim. Prove it.
Now, what would Tony say about this? You're being a poo-poo head. So,
well, so what?
Well, Tony's not here, so I'll call you a poo-poo head.
Okay.
Well, but even if it's true that he said it, even if it's true, someone saying that it's Barack Obama or someone else saying that it's nearly impossible to sustain 3% GDP growth year after year, I mean, it's not an unrealistic statement. What he means to say is it's the equivalent of saying, well, we expect this Major League Baseball team to win 100 games every year, every single year, every year. I mean, come on, that's not realistic, and everybody knows it, because even if you could do it 5 or 6 or 7 years in a row, you can't do it 8 or 9 or 10 or 12. I mean, the New England Patriots don't win the Super Bowl every year. It just can't be done. I think that's all he was trying to say, even if he said it. I don't remember the quote, but I'm just saying, even if you're correct word for word, what's wrong with having said that? There's nothing wrong with having said that. I don't think anyone would disagree.
Obama said it. Other than Obama said it. That's the only reason. Yeah. That's the only reason Phil brought it up, is because Obama may have said that.
Right. I mean, but I think you guys see what I'm saying is it's just, yeah. I mean, even if it's true, so what? I mean, I always, get back to that. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, if the growth has been really well since Trump took office, and that's what the numbers say, well, okay, then so be it. I mean, we'll give some credit where credit's due, but I said some credit. We can't give all credit because they are correct. It has been trending up for a good number of years. And, I mean, I think we all know you can't really fix an economy in a month, and you can't really wreck an economy in a month, barring some catastrophic event that no one can foresee, any president of any party. So if it's been trending up for quite a while, that's fine. I mean, if we were talking business, he's supposed to be such a businessman. Let's talk business. I mean, if your sales and your business were trending up but only slightly for, 4 or 5 months, and then all of a sudden you had 2 or 3 really great months, and then the guy who was running your business died and the new guy took over, and the next month after that was the best one ever, is it the guy who's been on the job for 3 weeks, or was it the guy who just died who'd been on the job for a year and it was slowly getting better? I mean, I'm sure that second guy would like to think it was all him, but I mean, anyone who ran a business would know that it wasn't. So just look at it that way.
Well, I mean, also, Obama prevented this country from going into the worst recession we've seen since the 20s. He had to do it by
George W. Bush that did that.
Huh?
George W. Bush came up with the stimulus, and he released half of this. Was it $7 billion?
Yeah,
or
but,
$7
but,
trillion?
But Obama came in and finished it off and did it. He sealed
with
the deal.
cash for clunkers.
Yeah. Well, it sold cars.
Yeah, but it didn't put anybody to work.
What do you mean it didn't put anybody to work? It put people to work in Detroit.
No, because
no, you didn't. Because why? Because they sold the clunkers, but they didn't need a new clunker.
Yeah.
Phil, you're talking out of your ass. Yes, Patrick.
Oh, I got that.
The way that I look at this is, as long as Trump is not making the shit trend in the other direction, why don't we all just be pleased that it's still continuing in a positive direction versus reversing itself? And that would be for any president. Whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, I don't really give a shit who started it, as long as the next one continues the positive growth, whether it's in unemployment, numbers, or whether it's the economy or whatever it is, as long as it's continuing in a positive direction, who fucking cares?
You're making a very good point there, Patrick. I mean, it really doesn't matter, but the reason it matters is Trump is like a kid saying to his mommy, I just made a poo-poo. He's going around bragging about this like he did the most wonderful thing in the world when people previous to him got the wheels in motion, and they should be given credit for it as well.
New York Post. This economy is definitely not Obama's recovery. September 12th of 18. Barack Obama is trying to take credit for the booming by saying it can only happen.
Is that an editorial, or is that or an opinion piece, or is that?
It's an opinion.
Okay. Well, then
there you go.
It's an opinion. It's an opinion.
And the New York Post is very conservative.
But it is an opinion nonetheless. It is not on their front page as news, or in the middle pages as news. Yes, Patrick.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
You got to do like I do. When you argue with people, use their own media. Like the New York Times is very liberal leaning. Don't use our shit.
But the New York Times doesn't tell the truth.
Phil, let me talk. The only way to quiet people on the left is you use their own media. That's how I win arguments all the time. I'll give them the New York Times or the San Francisco Chronicle or something where it's left-leaning, and then they can't come back with anything because it's their own people writing the shit that's positive for our side. Don't go to Breitbart, don't go to any of that horse shit. Find it in the left-wing media, and then they'll all shut up because they can't fight it back.
Patrick, that's the only place you'll find the truth. Because you got the New York Times.
This is
fake news. They have an agenda.
Phil. To begin with, stop a second, Phil. To begin with, you were quoting a newspaper and saying you were quoting the newspaper's news section, but then it turned out that you were quoting an op-ed that was published in the Post. Isn't that your form of being fake news in and of yourself?
Well, when you're looking at it on the phone.
Well, wait a minute. No, you were the very thing you accused the Times of being. You were being fake news at that precise moment.
Not necessarily.
Yes, you were. Yes, no, it's an opinion. You didn't say it was an opinion. You said, listen to this from the New York Post, and then you read it as though it were part of their news.
I clicked on it after I started reading.
Yeah. Well, maybe you should. You were exactly what you accuse fake news of being.
No, that's not true.
No, that is true.
I didn't make it up. It's printed.
Patrick.
Bill, again, use their media. I can find stuff. It takes a while.
Yeah.
You can find it, but then once you find it, they can't dispute it. Even opinion pieces, find opinion pieces written by lefties, and then the lefties have to shut up because it's their own fucking words coming back.
They'll never shut up. They'll never shut up because they're never Trumpers.
I get it.
Trump could be the third coming of Christ, and they wouldn't shut up.
Yes, Vernon, you've got your hand up.
All I have to say, Phil, is the truth is not faith-based. The truth is not faith-based. It's not based on what you believe.
Well, is your reason for hating Trump because of the way he says what he says?
No, because he's a piece of shit.
No, it's because of the things that he does. Separating families at the border is supposed to be reducing immigration. But guess what? It's not reducing it. It's increased under him.
It's increased because there are people saying that if you don't go now and claim asylum,
you're making excuses, Phil. He asked you a very legitimate question. He said he was going to stop the influx of people, and there are more coming in.
No, there's fewer than under Obama.
Really? Really? No, you're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely you're wrong.
This month it was 100,000.
Yeah. It's the largest
that
they caught.
I think it's yes. What are you saying, Kevin?
I said, isn't there more coming in because he made this place so great and everybody wants to come in now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's Disneyland.
Well, I think it's because of what's going on in Guatemala and the. What they call the
I think
countries.
just between you and me, I think it's because the new Avengers movie is coming out.
That's it. Yeah, somebody paid $15,000 to see that damn movie.
Did they really?
You see that?
No.
Somebody paid $15,000 to see that movie on the first night.
Really?
On eBay. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
Yes, Patrick.
On what Kevin said, though, it's something that I've wondered by many of the people on the left who have said, when has America ever been great, that sort of thing, then why are these people flocking into this country? Because it's so fucking terrible? I mean, that right there, what Kevin said is something I've been wondering as I've listened to people yapping about how awful it is here, whether it's under Trump or whether when it was under Obama. You know, it's so fucking terrible here.
Patrick, let me try to explain this as simply as I possibly can. And that is, the reason they want in here is because we're the nearest decent place to be, since all those other countries are so fucked up. But the fact is, yes, we've got our problems here, and we can complain about them in comparison to the way they've been in the past, okay? But the fact is that none of us want to move to Mexico or Guatemala or Venezuela or any of those South American countries because they're pretty fucked up. And so they're coming to where the jobs are. They're coming to where they think they can have a better life for their kids. If they could skip over the United States and go to Canada, they'd probably do it.
Well, let's build a road for them now.
Good.
We'll follow the pipeline.
Forget about a wall.
Pipeline. We'll just make them a road right on through.
Make Mexico pay for it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Now, I think that the reason that you guys are all unhinged is they had a 3.0 earthquake today in Long Island, or off Long Island.
Really?
Did you know that?
I'm not unhinged.
Potatoes in China.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm not unhinged, and I didn't feel it.
Well, Mr. Alex is saying that he doesn't feel good and he's feeling the pressure. Yeah. Oftentimes in California, we have something called earthquake weather. And what happens...
There's no such thing.
Well, you ever notice that that the weather changes? Things are very calm.
Weather changes all the time.
I used to think that, but there's no
such and the pressure.
There's no such thing as earthquake weather, Phil.
No, there's no such thing. I used to think the same thing, but I was in so many earthquakes when the weather was so different so many times. It never made sense.
Bree, we can now see the top of your head. So it must be you're awake now.
And
did you powder?
Charlie has got his hand.
You want any of this action?
No.
Hey, so did anybody hear about the hearings today on the internet and how they streamed the internet and the hearings on the internet and how they streamed it on YouTube and they got so bad with the chats on the side that everybody was.
Don't change the subject. I've been trying to get in for the last 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Charlie.
Oh, I didn't.
I said your hand was.
I didn't see your hand up.
My hand's been up and waved.
You have to realize
go, Charlie,
I'm seeing a very small picture of everybody. And but go ahead, Charlie. Go ahead.
Well, the reason people are coming here is not because we're so great, but because these other places are so much worse.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
The plan is to make the U.S. so bad for them that they won't even come here either. And that's why he's doing such horrendous things like ripping kids away from their parents and not even keeping track of where they are so we can ever get them back together. And that's one of the reasons I hate Trump.
Oh, wait a minute. You want to hear Obama's answer to that one? Trump's answer to that one? Obama started that policy first.
That's right, yeah.
Obama did not.
He did.
No, he didn't.
He put the kids in cages.
No, he didn't put kids in cages.
Those cages were
built
under
they
Obama.
Weren't built for kids. They were built for people. And you know, here's the thing. You take kids away from their parents. What's the first thing you do? You make sure you know who the parents are in relationship to that kid. We don't have any of that information. That's totally irresponsible, Phil.
Then we deported the parents, didn't even keep track of them. So even if we know whose kids they are, they can't find the parents now anymore because they're gone.
Well, now they'll have an option. They'll be able to stay with their parents, or
First you got to find. First you got to find the parents.
Or Phil's going to adopt them all, aren't you, Phil?
Oh yeah. I'm reading the article that supports my position. The Hill, and this is in finance. Is the Hill a communist paper or a Breitbart kind of thing?
Phil, first of all, communism, the only place left that's communist is maybe an apartment in Berkeley, California. Okay? For the most part, communism,
Vermont.
Communism is not an issue any longer.
All right. Is the Hill a periodical that you can accept information from?
It's
because if it is, then I'll read further.
Wait a minute, Kev.
A liner for a kitty box. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Patrick.
Phil, before you would ask a question like that, research it first, because you don't ask this panel because they'll just dismiss it anyway.
Right.
I don't even know what the Hill is. I only go for left-wing stuff that I know, and then I can push it right back at people, and then I barely get any pushback, because if you throw their own shit in their face, they can't do anything about it.
Well, let me give up the quote, and then I'll find out what the Hill stands for. Trump quoted Obama saying President Trump would need a magic wand to get 4% GDP at a PBS NewsHour town hall event in 2016. So maybe if I go to this PBS NewsHour.
Town hall?
PBS town hall.
Well, he hasn't gotten.
And he's quoting Obama
Phil,
saying
when you go
Trump
looking this stuff up,
wand.
when you go looking this stuff up, don't tell us on the
go
air as you're looking it up. Okay.
Well, how else can you do it? You got to be prepared for this stuff.
Well, don't make statements you can't support, Phil.
All right, so I'll sing.
You know something? I could take any harebrained idea. I could take any harebrained idea. I could put it into Google, and I bet something would come back verifying what I believe.
Publications. I'll see if I can find it.
Okay, The Hill.
No, I'll find you a list and I'll send it to you.
All right.
And it divides them all up into conservative and liberal, and you can look them up as you go.
Yeah.
Give you a little reference.
Thank you. That's what I appreciate that.
Yeah, that'll give you something to work off of. But it won't be tonight.
All right.
You know.
And Phil, I'm sincere when I say that, because it's a lot easier you and I wouldn't necessarily accept something from the New York Times as gospel. So why would you expect anybody on the left to take anything from our side as gospel. You have to use your own resources.
But everybody on the left is reacting emotionally. They're not reacting to what's being done. What's happening is
Phil. There's a reason why we're reacting emotionally, because this dotard has been riling the populace up with his stupidity and his stupid statements. And,
I think you've been conned.
And you know what? I've been conned by.
I think you've been conned.
It's our fault that he's lied.
In other words, I've been
Wait a
minute. Would you? Can I?
I think the liberal media.
It's the liberal media's fault that Trump has lied 9,000 times.
And they're the ones that are claiming that. I don't see him. I didn't see any
Phil,
lies.
Phil,
he promised he's delivering.
You didn't see a single lie, Phil?
Right. Everything he promised, he's delivering. For some reason,
what do you mean everything he promised? Wait a minute, everything he promised, he's delivering?
Yeah.
Give me an example.
He's working on the wall.
He's working on the wall.
On immigration.
Okay, he's working on the wall. Wait a minute, let me finish. Wait, one at a time. He's working on the wall. The wall he went to the other day was built by Obama and was under repair from the Obama administration.
Well, he just got $985 million from the Pentagon for wall.
Oh, he stole money from our from our military budget.
The Pentagon authorized it.
Well, they had to. He told them to.
That's correct.
Not the way it works. But meanwhile,
that is the way
he's
it
building
works.
wall.
He's not building a wall, Phil.
Calling it built.
He's looking exactly. He's looking at a wall. What'd you say, Bree?
They think the impression is that he's building the wall, and that was his wall. He went there because he's the master of impressions. You say Obama started that. Most people are not going to know that or think that. They're going to go with the impression. The impression is he went there, there's a wall. Okay, move on.
Maybe Bree walls work.
Okay.
That's why he went there.
So let's go with more lies then. He said that Mexico was going to pay for the wall.
And eventually they will.
I don't buy eventually, Phil. So far he's lied. So far he's lied.
No, because the Mexicans that are here send billions of dollars back to Mexico, and he's going to tax those financial transactions that when they send that money back.
Yeah, okay, well, let's see him do that. All I'm saying is he lied about Mexico paying for the wall.
A transaction tax. If you send something, let's say Western Union.
No, he
that
can't.
Still wouldn't be Mexico paying. That would be us paying.
Well, these guys are sending the money back there, so we're getting a chunk of it.
And he said he wasn't, when he was running for office, I think he said he wasn't going to touch Medicare.
He did. He said it multiple times.
Now, what has he touched in Medicare?
He's trying to lower his budget for Medicare.
He's trying to lower the budget for everything because he's trying to. Wait a minute. He's trying to make
all right.
everything in government work better.
Here is the thing
so
he said. He said he was going to balance the budget and he was going to bring the national debt down. Instead, the national debt is now, I think, $2 trillion more than when he took over.
Yep.
Yeah, and
but isn't that a lie?
Obama.
No, he didn't.
No, he did.
No, he did not. He added. Hold on a second, Phil. He added $2 trillion to the national debt. Okay, when he said he was going to lower the national debt, and so far he lied about that.
It's an investment in lowering the debt.
Oh, Jesus!
By increasing.
Well, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out and spend $100,000 to lower the amount of money I have.
Hey, you got to advertise to get customers in. You know what I mean?
Phil, this is not a fucking rug store.
Well, it's business. And, maybe if...
then if he knew something about business, maybe I'd feel safer. But he doesn't. He's a man who's continually gone bankrupt.
Hey, sometimes you got to fail in order to know how to do it right.
Jesus Christ, Phil.
Yeah. But here, there are more people working right now. The economy's better than it has been in years. And because of that, there's more tax being collected.
Are they working? What is the average wage, though, of those new jobs?
It's a lot better than the shovel-ready jobs that we're going to get from Obama that never materialized.
What were you? They built 2 bridges in Louisville, Kentucky, based on the shovel-ready projects that Obama got through under the stimulus package.
The Obama shovel-ready jobs never appeared. What the stimulus package?
He just told you of one in particular.
Yeah, in a red state. So, do you think Obama was going to give it up to a red state?
Between 2 red states, Phil. It was built between Indiana and Kentucky. It was the 2 bridges I'm talking about were built between Indiana and Kentucky, 2 red states. Right. And that money came during Obama. It was not something Republican came about with. Look, that was shovel-ready project.
Things don't stop.
Okay, I see. It's hard for me to see when people's hands are up, but Joss Wheeler has his hand up.
Right. So he's citing
bridges. Hold on a second. Let Josh say what he's got to say.
Well, that's okay. I was going to say that I have the numbers for you from the Department of Commerce. Mm-hmm. Okay, the Department of Commerce, their economic analysis report from the U.S. Department of Commerce, run by the federal government, President Trump is the president of, so can't deny these numbers. GDP growth just under 3% at about 2.9 in 2017. The first quarter of 2018 fell below 2%. The second quarter was 4.1%, but the third and the fourth were back down again, 3.4%. And then the fourth quarter of last year, all the way back down to 2.2%. Annual income, as of February, is only up 0.2%, and in January, the month before, it was down 0.1%. So, two years in, we haven't seen the 4%.
Do you think
we all remember all
due to the tariffs?
We remember all that bouncing up and down.
Yeah, but what was the GDP under Obama? It was 1%.
2015, the last year, full year, 2015 was up at like 3.7, something I just read. Something like that.
That was, you said that was Trump. Obama, I believe.
No, I gave you the numbers just a second ago, and then I said I just read 2015 was like 3.7.
Yeah.
And Obama was
for a year or for a month?
Jesus Christ.
For a year or for the month?
For the year.
3.7. Obama never achieved.
Oh, apparently he did, because the Department of Commerce said he did.
I'm going to look it up.
Oh, Jesus, Phil. He looked it up. Josh looked it up. Josh has no axe to grind here.
He didn't look up the 2015. He looked up the ones under Trump.
He just said 215.
He said 215.
I know he said 215, but he looked up the Trump one.
2015.
Try to open it back up. Just a
second. Bree has his hand up. Bree.
One of the reasons why the economy can go up under Trump is because he totally, absolutely, 100% ignores negative externalities. So in the short term, he can have a great economy, but in the long term, it's going to hurt us a lot more. So what I mean by that is, it used to be if you had a business and you had toxic waste, you couldn't go dump it in you would go dump it in the local river, but eventually we figured out that was actually hurting us more because the water was valuable and the fish were valuable, etc. So we passed all kinds of laws to restrict this, and it made the companies have to spend more money. Now they can go right ahead and dump that toxic waste right into the river or the lake and kill all the fish again. They can do whatever they want. They can pollute the air. So in other words, he basically says the economy can go. And in the short term, that's going to boost things. But in the long term, it's just not sustainable, as we know, and it's going to be bad for us. But think of the things you could do if you ignored laws, if you ignored, if I could just dump my garbage over the rail and get away with that, then my life would be much easier. My apartment would look very clean, but outside it would look very bad. And that's essentially the analogy.
And later on, somebody's got to come clean it up, and it's going to cost money to clean it up.
That's right. It's going to cost us a lot more.
Phil isn't even listening to what you're saying.
Yeah, I did.
What did he just say?
That you could throw the garbage away, but eventually it's going to come back to haunt you. But to Josh's point, PolitiFact, says Obama administration first to never top 3% in annual GDP growth. And the claim is Obama administration was the first administration that never had a whole year of 3%. And it says mostly true. So Obama's growth was far less than what Trump is just demonstrating.
And what kind of economy was he working that in, Phil?
Well, it doesn't matter. What
was going on when he took office?
Yeah, well, things couldn't go anywhere but up when he took office.
Well, yeah, but they're not going to go up like boom, you know.
The Dow was at 5,000.
But when Trump took over this country, it was on an upward trajectory. Okay, so? And he is the beneficiary of that. And I will have to admit one thing to you, Phil. He is president of the United States, and it's on his watch. And at some point, and usually it's halfway through, you have to give him credit for what goes on his watch.
Before he got elected, the people on the left said that the economy was going to go in the shitter.
Still, he's lying. And it didn't. He's lying because he said he would bring the national debt down, and instead he added $2 trillion to it through his mismanagement of our government.
Well, he's cutting expenses in government.
I don't give a shit, Phil. You said he always told the truth when he's
not cutting expenses.
Well, you guys were all pissed off because
Phil. You said that you liked him because he kept his campaign promises. I just gave you one that he hasn't kept, and in fact, And what I'll hold my breath till that happens. We were already $2 trillion over. I don't know where he's going to make that better. Okay,
we'll see.
Especially after giving the rich that huge
expenses of government.
As far as I'm concerned, he's a corporate bullshitter. He's got corporate.
He's got fewer asses in the seats in government. You know, they're saying, hey, you know, all of these ambassadors aren't getting appointed. Well, they're not getting appointed because he's not spending the money on that.
You know, that is the smallest amount of
ambassadors.
And then there was that crap about the Special Olympics. So he overrode that one. But he told
that's the smallest amount of money we spend, Phil. That's the smallest amount of money we spend.
And nothing's ever good enough for you.
No, it's not good enough.
He's cutting expenses. He told every cabinet position to cut the expenses by 15%.
You know something? It still doesn't make him not a piece of shit.
Well, it doesn't matter. You would think he's a piece of shit even if he was the next coming of Christ.
You know something? Phil, I'll tell you on the election night, what I said to Marjorie.
Bullshitter knows how to maneuver the numbers.
What I said to Marjorie on election night was, you know, he might surprise us, and I hope so. He might surprise us and be really pretty good. Let's wait and see. Well, we've waited and see. And
you haven't given him a chance. All you've wanted to do is convince him.
2 years is not a chance?
It's two.
No, it's 2 years you've been going after him.
It's almost 2.5 years.
For all sorts of bullshit
he
that isn't true.
Done some.
I hear the theme.
Bring it on.
Yeah. Well, thank God there's the theme.
I'll eat my word.
Yeah, I also thought that he could be great. Oh well.
Yeah. Oh well.
I think that he is great.
Well, because you're the moron. You're the moron in the house. Anyway, listen, we got to say goodbye. First of all, thanks to Vernon, and thanks to Phil, and thanks to Charlie, and thanks to Jeff, and thanks to Kevin, and thanks to Patrick, and thanks to Bree, and thanks to Josh. And see, I got everybody's name. I'm not losing it, folks. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye, okay? There they go. I'm gonna wave back at them, okay? And there we go. That's our citizen panel. I'm going to hang up on all of them. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of them, and I'm also going to take me offline and make myself invisible. So the next show, which is the intersection, which is with Jack Bishop, will be able to get in here and do their little program. I'll see you again. Let's see, tomorrow night at 8:30. It's sports with the franchise MC in the arena, and then it's the exchange at 9:30 Eastern Daylight Time with with Damian Chaplin. And then I will see you again right back here tomorrow night, same time, same station, live, 10 o'clock, Eastern Daylight Time. And in the meantime, if you see her, do me a favor, okay? Tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good night.